My name's Kim. It's a pleasure to present our Naples Street House. So this is the diagram of the home. We always start with trying to really refine what we're doing down to as elemental mode as possible. And that's the finished roof plan of the house. So the diagram it folds its roof form into two lifted points in opposing corners of the courtyard, allowing the house to fall down to two flat-roofed little points on the opposing corners of the house, creating a sense of, formal encounter from the outside, but very specifically a relationship of curating views from the inside of the house looking via the courtyard out. The floor plan the house is a home for 3 generations of the one family. Our clients, Susanna and Chi, who are up here in the audience with us, and their children take the eastern wing down the bottom of the page. Their principal bedroom is one corner of the house, the northeast, and in the southwest, the opposing corner of the house is their parents' house. So the 2 elders of the home have these sanctuaries as opposed to sleeping spaces in opposing corners of the house. The entrance has this axial alignment from the street to the north, passing via the central courtyard, and we have a pocket of kitchen, dining, living, oscillating around that northern corner at the top, and then another private living, back hunkered into the south, again looking north through that courtyard. Street elevation, and a quick cut through there, showing a relationship of the roof form lifting and falling, oscillating around that courtyard. The dining room to the to the right. And sleeping to the left, the whole entire house is pulled 4 metres off the east boundary to allow for a thick garden to populate that space. And then side boundary, small windows to the east, small apertures to the east and west in those sleeping and bathing spaces, cutting back through. We have street to the left, north to the right, a sense of suburban prospect and refuge. So that living space on the left is hunkered down in this, cave-like space, looking through this, window seat, little indoor-outdoor window seat where you can sit back, enjoy the sun from that back corner of the house, but also look horizontally right through the courtyard, through the living room, to that back garden. Street elevation, a bit of falling topography, so the house sits on a concrete plinth. Susanna's parents, also in terms of the street presentation, Susanna's parents arrived in Australia as refugees from Vietnam. So there's a sense of importance of speaking to the street, or importance of how the house is grounded. How it spoke to not just the street but the world, and having a sense of resilience and strength and robustness. I reckon I'm probably jumping well outside of time, so I'm going to start moving a bit faster. The brick walls run entirely over the brick roof, so the brick cladding is universal from the walls to the roof, folding back inside that central courtyard. The entrance has a small lift in the topography to introduce that front step, and then that axial sight line right to the north, right to the backyard, coming around. All those small apertures on the west side, and now we start to have that big crack. So the 3 sliding doors here actually slide fully past the living space, so they overlap that hallway window, allowing the backyard, the living room, the courtyard to have singular connected space. And looking right through from that rear living room through to the courtyard, living room, into that northern front yard or backyard. A little bit of topography rising up the hill. The house, 25% or 75% of the roof rainwater is caught in its catchment, caught in rainwater storage on site. 25% of the roof drains without a roof gutter down into a ground gutter. So that gravel down there at the threshold is just distributing that water collected in the ground. A bit more of a Gauss yield threshold, concrete robust. Interiors, burnished slab, spotted gun plywood. This is that northern, that shared sense of dining, kitchen, living. All's one shared social space, but the ceiling spaces lift up and are quite specifically spatially defined for each one of those shared social zones. Coming around, a little bit more of the texture or the continuity of light connection to that central courtyard. So it's that connectivity of, I guess, those spaces oscillating around this kind of one of those high points in the roof, connecting onto that central courtyard. Really low-cost plasterboard for the ceilings, using a warm grey paint to just allow light and shadow to cultivate and coalesce up there. Stainless steel, robust bench and work surfaces, custom stainless steel dining table. Just kicking around, axial connection. So it's, I guess, a sense of that suburban prospect and refuge, pulling back into the deep spotted gum dining space there. Custom galvanised steel pendants, and then allowing that sense of lift in that ceiling space internally that always coalesces with that lift in the corresponding roof form through that courtyard. And here we can see both to the street, but also through the courtyard into that rear, more private living space. And cutting across that courtyard. The bedrooms, really low cost, it's laminate joinery, monolithic use of a warm grey paint to just allow a sense of stillness and calmness, opening onto that 4-metre deep garden on the side. And the shared bathroom, powder room, and there's washroom spaces always connecting back into that central courtyard. A study connecting to the street. And that private sanctuary space, piano here, so this allows for the two generations to the family to come together, or to spend, or 3 generations, sorry, or to have a sense of private lounge here, shared living across the other end where they can visually connect, or have a sense of privacy and sanctuary. So that's a north-facing window seat here. Coming around for some of those internal details. Then again, sitting in the sun, connecting back to that central courtyard, back to the north. So this house is in Box Hill, suburban street, side by side and around every neighbouring house is 2-storey max yield, big sense of suburbia. This house is a single-storey house pulled in from the side, forming the roof up specifically so that we can curate entry from the northern sun into all of these social spaces, borrow that lemon centre gum for the neighbouring property to the north, and then edit out any sense of the neighbours that are actually quite tall, have overlooking issues into this property, and just remove them. So once in this site, I guess we're creating our own, we've got the sense of prospect and refuge, but we're manifesting our own prospect. We create our own sense of, connection to this internal garden, connection to sky and tree canopies, and kind of, for a period of time, edit that sense of visual intensity with those neighbours on either side. Great. Last couple of slides. So the 2 opposing corners of the house of that roof form, you can see on the top left side of the screen, rises up above us in this corner here. The windows lock into those 2 corners. So we have the dining and living space opening with full height sliding doors, and that's balanced out on the other side facing north. That north-facing window seat, allowing that sense of clambering from the hallway, inside and outside, climbing up into that lounge space. The garden itself divides the courtyard into 2 spatial zones, so as it matures. Great, that's my last slide. Thank you.